Hey everybody, welcome to Home Defense Shakedown. My name is Todd. If you can't read my t-shirt, pause and take a look at it because it's very true. What is Home Defense Shakedown? Well, we, with your help, convert your home into a live fire range where you can test your current plan, or a lot of people don't have plans. Will help you come up with a plan to defend your home against one or more bad guys. Now, how does the day go? Typically, we'll show up, the team leader will walk with you around the perimeter of your home, and we're looking for little things that we can help you improve to slow the bad guys down. If you can slow them down enough, hopefully they never make their way into your home. You're never going to prevent someone from getting into your home. I don't care what you do on the exterior, but if you can slow them down just an additional 5 or 10 seconds, that's valuable time that you can prepare inside the home to defend it. Can we protect your house 100% from damage? The answer is no. There's no way. And we found this through trial and error for us to come up with every scenario that's going to take place within your home. Our bad guys don't take it easy on the homeowners. You're not paying us to come out and kind of bring our B game. We are bringing our A game. Our bad guys want to complete whatever objective it is inside your home. And they're going to do whatever they can to do that. And it's your job with your plan to stop that from happening. Doesn't always mean exchanging gunfire. It could be something just as far as controlling the situation verbally. But you're going to have a confrontation inside your home. And where that takes place, it's impossible for us to predict because, again, these are very unpredictable, very fluid situations inside your home. Now, will your walls get massively damaged? No. The sim ammunition that we use, there's two types. We have a hard ball, plastic ball, very similar to airsoft, but only bigger, and we have a marking round. The marking rounds most likely won't actually leave an indent in your wall when it hits, but of course it is going to splatter and it's going to leave a little paint smear. Yeah, obviously if you're hit with it, you're going to be able to see exactly where you're hit, but if it hits your wall, it's going to leave a mark. It easily wipes off most finishes. You wouldn't even know the wall got hit. And we do that immediately after the scenario. We don't give it a chance to dry. There are situations where we use a hard plastic ball, a non-marking round. These are hard and they can leave a small dimple in your wall when struck. However, you almost have to, somebody has to point it out to you for you to find it. Now, obviously, if there's rounds exchanging in a hallway, there's only one wall that it's going to hit. If you go up to the wall and you take a really close look, there is a possibility that you're going to see a little dimple in your drywall, but it's easily fixed or ignored. Most of our clients just ignore them because they're not that severe. The rifle that we use, and again, you may have a handgun at home, that's perfectly fine. We have a handgun also, that's a simulator. But this is we feel, the world's best simulated firearm on the market. It fires a 8mm, as I mentioned earlier, 8mm, either marking round or a 8mm non-marking round, the hard plastic ball. It's manufactured by a company that makes actual AR platform rifles. It is built military spec, very expensive. We also film every scenario. As you can see here, the rifle is set up with a GoPro on a mount. You will also wear a body mounted, typically on the bill of a hat. We have a hat for you to use if you don't have one, or on your shirt, ideally your hat, where it's filming point of view, what you see. And on top of that, we have the latest and greatest 360-degree video camera to capture pretty much every angle within any particular house. So between the weapon-mounted video, the body-mounted video, and the freestanding 360 video, you're going to have a very good account of what happens during every scenario that you run. Our scenarios. The team leader will take you back to your bedroom. We do run day and night scenarios. The daytime are a little bit trickier to pull off because a lot of times we're out front simulating, for instance, coming home in your car, hitting the garage door, it goes up, things to look for, maybe an engagement in your garage with a bad guy. That's happening more and more around the world, especially here in the United States. But typically, there's nighttime scenarios where you're inside, you're in bed with your significant other, your kids are in bed, if you have kids, and we run the scenarios at night, basically. So you'll be able to simulate getting woke up in the middle of the night and having to deal with a problem. How do most scenarios go down? Well, we're going to let you do the first scenario yourself. We won't give you any kind of advice on how to handle anything. What we're trying to determine is, do you have a plan? And if you do have a plan, have you ever ran through that plan? Physically ran through it in your home and figured out whether it works or not. And then we're going to test that plan. Now, if you don't have a plan, well, that's going to be the time where you're going to get with your significant other, your family, and you're going to come up with one. I'll give you a scenario. Somebody's coming through your front door, or you think is your front door. How are you going to react? And you need to come up with something and then implement that plan. Stop the problem. After that first scenario, of course, we'll evaluate it. Each scenario is going to be evaluated afterward so that we can put our 2 cents worth, let you know what we observed. We're not going to review any of the video, that's for later, but we go through everything so that if you were confused at any point, we're going to give you pointers on how you could react differently to that particular situation. Once everyone is satisfied that we discussed that thoroughly enough, we go into another scenario, which could be completely different, or it could be the same. Again, we're not going to let you know what is happening necessarily. We have a remote Bluetooth speaker that we can place throughout your house that simulates a door kick, that simulates glass breaking. That's what you're going to hear if you're laying in bed in the middle of the night, and you're going to have to react to, and that's what we're trying to simulate there. So your team leader will activate that sound. You'll have to evaluate what it is and then react to it. At the same time, our bad guys have an objective. I mentioned that earlier. If you are just a couple, you have no kids, sleeping elsewhere in the house, that obviously is going to be a different scenario than if you do have kids sleeping, for instance, in a split floor plan. You're on one side of the house, they're on the other. You're going to handle that very differently than if it's just you and your wife in the master bedroom when you hear something happening in your house. We run through typically 4 to 5 different scenarios. If one of the, husband or wife is the leader in the first couple of scenarios, we will switch it up if the other significant other is interested in doing it. We encourage all significant others to be engaged on some level. We're going to actually require it on some degree, either moving somewhere safe, getting out of the way in case something does happen, or possibly even helping the primary, your husband or your wife, actually do whatever they need to do inside the house, work as a team. It all really kind of comes down to what everyone is comfortable doing, and we are going to challenge you on that. Lots of times we have, and I'm not going to stereotype here, but we have wives who are just kind of want to leave it to their husbands to deal with it. That's perfectly okay. But there are things that you could be doing as you're doing that, as the wife, going to a safe spot that we're going to discuss. Get the police coming. I can't tell you how many times we've gone in after a scenario and said, okay, you called the police, right? And, oh, dang it, I forgot to do that. I was so caught up in what was going on out there that I totally spaced it. So there's going to be some things that even someone who is not willing to actively participate in the stopping of the problem in the house, they're going to have responsibilities. Once we finish the scenarios, we'll wrap it up. We'll have a kind of an end briefing on everything that took place. We'll talk about things that you could change, not only with your house, as far as slowing the bad guys down, but also how you would react if somebody was to come in maybe in a way that wasn't represented in a scenario, so that you have kind of an idea or able to formulate a plan for that. And then we clean up, which takes us about 15, 20 minutes, and we're out the door. There it is in a nutshell. Very fun, very realistic. I'm going to go through a couple of questions that we've fielded at most here in a second, but you're going to get a lot out of this program. A lot. As long as you're okay with the potential for some minor damage within your home. Again, we do the best we can to mitigate that, but you are talking about bad guys wanting to complete their objective and a homeowner that wants to stop the bad guys. And when you have those two elements going at it, things happen. But we do our best to prevent that. As long as you're okay with that, then you know what? You're going to have a wonderful, incredible experience. Now, some of the questions that we field. Do the marking and unmarking rounds hurt when you get shot? Absolutely they do. You could have welts on your skin where you are struck with either of these. The two that hurts the least is the marking rounds, because it's just a gel ball. So the exterior, the actual exterior surface material is thin to allow that inside liquid to dissipate and kind of squish. Whereas the hard non-marking rounds, they deliver a wallop. What do we do for protection? We provide you with a mask and face protection. We also have available a jacket, kind of a hoodie jacket that zips up the front. It's white and it's cushy. There's a little bit of cushion built into it. It covers your arms. We also have gloves available if you choose to wear them. The only piece of safety equipment that we require is the eye protection and the face mask. Everything else is completely up to you. I would suggest men get a cup, the jockstrap cup thing. If you get nailed in the nether regions, it can really hurt. So if you don't have one right now, go on Amazon or go down to the local sports shop and pick yourself up a cup. Really, really important in my opinion. All of our bad guys wear them. They've all been shot down there, and it's not a pleasant experience. So get that before we arrive. We will not be providing those. So if we show up and you're like, dang it, I forgot to get one, you're just going to have to go without it. We'll do our best to alleviate that. But again, there's going to be a lot of movement involved in these scenarios. So it's kind of tough for us to, completely avoid that region, but we'll try. Money. The fee, you'll pay the fee when you register online. The fee is up front. There is no tip, so you don't have to worry about, and I always ask myself this when I have people come to the house and do a service. Do I tip them? Do I not tip them? You don't. Unless you absolutely think you want to, which of course we're not going to turn it down, but it is included in your fee. So you don't have to worry about any additional expenses. The ammunition. You'll be provided with, and weapons. Again, I mentioned our Unit Solutions rifles, which are, again, state-of-the-art. These are military-grade training weapons. And we also have handguns. They are blowback, which means they operate just like an actual live fire, a real handgun. They're all Glock 19s. If you have a different kind of firearm for your home defense weapon, you're going to have to use these. obviously, because they shoot a projectile and yours shoots one, but we don't want to use those. Which brings me to my next question. If you have weapons in the house, what do we ask that you do with them? Store them. If you have a safe at home, put them in your safe. We do not want, and you can see all of these have safety blue. We do not want, for obvious reasons, a live, real firearm involved in our scenarios. We don't want confusion under stress coming involved and have you pick up something maybe just by instinct and start to scenario that way. We do, obviously, we're watching everyone like a hawk, but we ask that all real weapons, while we're there, are stored in a safe place, out of the way, not accessible, for obvious reasons. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to shoot us an email or text the number on the website. We are a small company. A lot of times it's difficult for us to return phone calls. We try to handle as much of the questions as we can on the website, but if you do have a question that we miss or skip or it's just kind of out of the blue, text it to us. That typically comes directly to me and I'll get back to you immediately. You can call and leave a voicemail if you choose, but just know that it takes me a little while to get back to you, or you can email. And again, the email is on the website as well. So there's a quick overview of what we do here at Home Defense Shakedown. I hope we hear from you guys soon. We really think you're going to get a lot out of this. How many of us buy, and by the way, this is I was going to bring this in earlier, but this is my home defense weapon right here. You can see I've got a can on the front here to kind of keep it somewhat quiet if I, God forbid, ever involved a flashlight, which every weapon here, simulated weapon, will have a flashlight mounted, so will the handguns. A lot of this will also be available for purchase, so if you really like, say, the flashlight setup on the rifle or the handgun, we'll have them available for purchase. Just slap down your credit card and we can take care of it right there. But how many of us spend a ton of money on our home defense weapons, or personal defense weapons, and then never actually train with them in the environment that we're purchasing them for, which in this case is my home? Very few people do that. So that's why I think this program is very unique and all of us can get a little bit of something out of it. Thank you again, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Take care.